Good morning. My name is Brent Moore, Executive Director of the Children's Safety Village of Central Florida. And on behalf of the Safety Village Board of Directors and the children that we serve, we want to thank you for being here today. For the last 28 years, the Children's Safety Village has worked tirelessly to lead this area in child safety education. Over 110,000 children and thousands of parents have been impacted through our programs and services, all with the mission to make Central Florida the safest community for our children. Educating them has been a big task, and we couldn't accomplish this without the partnerships that we believe and have the same mission that we do. We're honored to host this event, partnering with Safe Kids Orange County and Safe Kids Worldwide, because no one agency can do it by itself. It takes a village. This message that each of these speakers shares today are very important to safety and being the most precious assets, and letting people know that this community is in full support of child safety. Let me introduce Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings, who has been here for the last 11 years and has been a previous heat stroke participant. Mayor.
All right, great. Thank you, Brent. It's really an honor for me to be here today. While Brent talks about 11 years, actually my relationship with the Children's Safety Village goes back several decades, even before that. I spent about 38 years in law enforcement, and the last 4.5 or so as the Orange County Mayor. And over these 42 years, I've had opportunity to engage on numerous occasions here with the Children's Safety Village. And it's important to me for a lot of reasons. Today I have 5 grandchildren, and some of them are very, very small. And we know the importance of what safety means to our children and to that generation. The Safety Village has done a tremendous job of making certain that our children are well educated and as safe as they possibly can be within this community. So we do honor you, Brent, on this day and the work that you're doing here with this facility. When I think back, I do recall several incidents in which children sadly died or were seriously injured as a result of being left in the back seats of automobiles. And because of that, we know that with the heat being what it is here in Florida, children left in the back seat of the car can be overcome within just a few minutes, and losing one child is far too many for any of us within this community. I have the privilege today of introducing, I say Madam President, the wonderful Tareen Creppy, who is now the president of the Safe Kids Worldwide. Tareen has dedicated her career to making a meaningful impact on children's lives across the globe, but certainly here within the U.S. She leads an organization that works throughout the United States to protect kids from preventable injuries, and we're proud to have her with us here today. And so, Madam President, it is my honor to welcome you to the podium at this time and welcome you to our community as well.
Thank you, Mayor Demings. On behalf of Safe Kids Worldwide, we are truly grateful for your work on this issue. I'm so happy to be here in Orlando, and I couldn't think of a better place to be when we launch Heat Stroke. As Mayor Demings said, losing one child is one too many. You can see behind me today, right now, and it's only 77 degrees, and look at the temperature inside a vehicle. It does not take long for a vehicle to heat up. I'd like to acknowledge our partners here today, Safe Kids Orange County, the Sheriff's Office, most importantly, JPMA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA's regional office, who has dedicated this day as Heat Stroke Awareness Day, and Makia Wallace, who will be here to tell us her story. To Brent Moore and Carissa Johns and everyone at Safe Kids Orange County and the Children's Safety Village, we can't do this work without your diligent work that you have done to lead the efforts of Safe Kids. Thank you to Joe Colella, most importantly, who has been part of this mission with me for almost 24 years, and we're grateful for the work that he continues to do to help with all car seat manufacturers and the importance of what we can do to never leave a child alone in a vehicle. Over the last several years, we have joined many like-minded organizations, including Kids in Cars, NoHeatstroke.org, and the National Safety Council to stop kids from dying in hot cars by using every tool necessary in our toolbox, including awareness, education, technology, and advocacy. And as you can see, we are still losing children. I am hopeful this year, very hopeful, that we won't lose another child. We have already lost 2 thus far, and the summer has not begun. As we continue to ensure all of you that we're going to do everything that we possibly can do, I encourage all of you, if you see a child in a vehicle, stop. Call 911. Do not leave that car. Do your best to try to get help for the family. Through it all, we have learned that we can do so much more together, and in that spirit, it is an honor to work with all of you as we unite against this. Our greatest wish, most importantly, as I mentioned, is to not leave another child in a vehicle, and hopeful that you would help me do that. What many people are shocked to learn is how hot the car can actually get. As you can see, today is not a hot day, as I mentioned, and I'm going to keep encouraging you to stay focused on that message. Here's what I want everyone to know. Look before you lock. Never leave a child alone in a car. Put something in the back seat to remind you. I've had parents say they put their work ID in the back because they have to go to the back to get the ID before they can go into a building. The families here, right here in Orlando, throughout Florida, and around the country deserve nothing less. Remember to park, look, and lock. And at this time, I would like to introduce Alex Cabral. It's now my privilege to introduce Region 4 Deputy Regional Administrator for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. My name is Alex Cabral. I'm the Deputy Regional Administrator for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's regional office in Atlanta, Georgia. We're here today to bring the attention to the dangers of hot cars, which is one of the leading causes of traffic-related deaths for children in the United States. Since 1998, when safety advocates first began tracking, 937 children died in hot cars. Each death is preventable. The U.S. DOT, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, working along with Safe Kids and organizations like Children's Safety Village, to reach out to parents and caregivers with the critical information about the dangers of heat stroke. NHTSA safety advocates, academic institutions urge parents and caregivers to learn about the deadly consequences of leaving children in hot cars. Share this life-saving information with everyone you know. Look before you leave. Since 1998, the majority of hot car tragedies occurred when a child is forgotten by parents or caregivers and left in a hot car that occurs at home. A busy caregiver may unintentionally forget that their child is quietly sleeping in the back of the car. Nearly 1/3 of those accidents occur are children under the age of 1. We have to teach our children that the vehicle is not a playground, and playing in and around the car can be dangerous. On average, 1 child dies in and around a car every 10 days in the United States from being left in a car or crawling into an unlocked vehicle. What is most tragic is that every single one of these deaths are preventable. The bottom line is this: mothers, fathers, caregivers, anyone is susceptible to forgetfulness. We live in a fast-paced society, and our routines are often upended at moments' notices. It is during these moments of hurriedness and change in routine many of these preventable tragedies occur. For this reason, it is more important than ever to look before you leave. As we rapidly approach the summertime, when temperatures in the South jump up to triple digits, we must be extra vigilant. We urge all parents and caregivers to do 3 things to prevent heat stroke. Make sure you have a habit of looking in the back of the vehicle every time you exit the vehicle. Never leave a child unattended, and always lock your keys and put them out of reach of them. I want to thank you. I want to introduce Joe Colello, who is the Director of Child Passenger Safety for the Juvenile Products Manufacturers Association. He's a child advocate for the past 3 decades and has taught and impacted 48 states and 5 different countries. Joe Colella.
A long time, about 3 decades, and an educator, and I'm also a dad and a grandpa, like the mayor said. I represent the children's product industry here, which strives for improving safety and health and the well-being of young children. So I'm kind of going to represent both aspects of my life to you right now. As an educator, I talk to a lot of parents, and when I bring up the topic of heat stroke or hot car deaths, the immediate response is, it can never happen to me. I'm a loving parent. I'm a caring parent. I could never forget my baby in the car. I'm a good parent. And unfortunately, heat stroke can happen to good and conscientious parents. It does happen to good and conscientious families. People have a hard time understanding that. They have a hard time understanding that our human brains are not perfect. We have plans and objectives. We plan to do something, but then a distracting phone call happens, or some condition changes. Our schedule changes is a big one for heat stroke deaths, and it causes us to kind of veer off that path. And just thinking about it, have you ever wondered if you remember to turn off the burner on a stove? That's how our brains work. Have you ever wondered if you remembered to lock the back door? That's the faulty side of it. And a lot of times our brains can even make us think, trick us into thinking that we did attend to something. They can fool us. And that's the human brain. That's not being a good parent or a loving parent. That's just the way our brains work. We lose 38 children every single year. And if you've ever lost somebody close to you, you know that one is way, way too many. So out of the nearly 1,000 kids that we've lost since 1998, all of them could be alive today. These are all preventable tragedies. Now, industry is trying to help parents protect their kids and come up with innovative technological solutions. But the products need to be in everybody's hands for them to truly work. We do have 2 car seat manufacturers who introduced heat stroke alert systems back in 2015. We've got 2 more that in the next few weeks are going to introduce their own heat stroke alert systems in their car seats. And these systems have been tested extensively for reliability and, most importantly, to make sure they don't take away the protection value of the car seat itself. Vehicle manufacturers are working on the same thing, on making sure that there are alert systems in new vehicles. All new vehicles will have those in the next few years. The only catch is young families can't always afford a new vehicle, so it may take time for everybody to have access to. So I'm just asking you, I'm pleading with you, I'm going to reiterate some of the things you've already heard. And you can also access these items on the NHTSA website or the Safe Kids website, safekids.org. Check your back seat every time you leave the car. Lock your doors. Even if you don't have kids of your own, other kids in your neighborhood can get into your car. So lock your doors every time. Put something in your back seat that you're going to need when you get to where you're going. And work with your child care provider to make sure if your child is unexpectedly absent that there's an alert system for you, that there's a phone call that happens. And of course, look into other aspects and child alert technologies that come with child seats or with vehicles. We all need to be a part of this. So I encourage you to do that. And now I get the pleasure of introducing the sheriff. Sheriff John Mina has dedicated his life to public safety. He spent nearly 28 years with the Orlando Police Department, rising through the ranks, and was appointed Chief of Police in 2014. In 2018, Sheriff Mina was elected as the 29th Sheriff of Orange County. Prior to entering law enforcement, he proudly served the country in the U.S. Army's 82nd Airborne Division as a military police officer. Community engagement and trust and transparency are the hallmark of Sheriff Mina's leadership style. He is a trusted face of law enforcement in Central Florida, testifying before the U.S. Congress and speaking at the White House on law enforcement matters. Sheriff Mina.
Well, thanks, Joe, and it's a pleasure to be here with Brent from the Children's Safety Village, the mayor, and all of our community partners who have dedicated their lives to keeping our children safe. So right here in our own community, we have seen the devastation that occurs when children are left unattended in hot vehicles. Florida has the second highest number of hot car deaths. 111 children have died this way since 1998. In the last 5 years in Orange County alone, 3 children ranging in ages from 1 to 4 years old have perished in hot cars right here in this community. And during the pandemic, we did see the number of hot car deaths across the nation decrease substantially, but in 2022, unfortunately, there was an uptick again. So these deaths are 100% preventable, and that's why we're all here. You've heard about the technology that is forthcoming, but there are so many other things we could do. I know parents who put their left shoe in the back seat. How about this? How about we put our cell phone in the back seat and get rid of that distraction altogether? And I think that's a great way of looking out for all the children in our community. So in just a few moments, you're going to hear from Makia Wallace, whose 21-month-old son, Jace, died in September of 2020 after he was left in a car by a caregiver for 7 hours. Makia has courageously agreed to share her story in order to spare other parents the pain that she lives with every single day. So again, we appreciate opportunities like this where we can come together, first responders, community partners, safety advocates, to educate our residents and visitors, and hopefully to save lives. And remember, this is 100% preventable. So now it's my pleasure to introduce one of the strongest women that I know, Makia Wallace.
Good morning, everyone. Before I begin, I would like to thank God for giving me the courage and strength to stand before you today regarding this topic. I would also like to take this time to thank Sheriff Mina, Taureen, Joe, Alex, Gary, Carissa, and Brent for allowing me to be a part of this impactful moment. To my 2 beautiful daughters, Jatoria and Jakayla, my Kingdom Culture family, close family, and friends, thank you all for your love, support, and prayers. I'm here today because I want to share my story, not from a victim standpoint, but how a mother overcame a tragedy that almost took her life. The pain I've endured has given me a greater purpose for living, and now I'm passionate about sharing my story to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening to other families. For 16 years, I prayed for a son. Despite being able to only hold him for 21 months, I witnessed a private prayer become a public testimony, and now I hold on to the promise of one day spending eternity with my sunshine. I want to start off by describing this gift of grace from God, Jace Lucas Leslie. He was a wonderful and unique kid. He didn't require much of anything, but he gave everything. A big, beautiful smile after a stressful day at work, the hugs that will last a lifetime, and kisses you can never wash away. He was loving, smart, and he was filled with so much peace and joy. He was very curious, but he had a trusting spirit. He loved animals, especially dogs, and he loved playing basketball. But more importantly, he loved Jesus, which led me to love him too. I can recall September 11, 2020, as if it was yesterday. Many days I relived that moment, hoping it was just a bad dream. That day felt anything but strange. I arrived to work as usual and called home to have our morning motivation talk. Have a great day at school, buddy. I'll see you later. Mommy loves you. Not even knowing that later would mean a long time. That afternoon, while having a conversation about all the amazing things a mother enjoys sharing about her 1-year-old Mr. Wonderful. I received a call from his teacher. Kia, I need you to get to the school. First thing I asked, is everything okay with my baby? She replied, I'll tell you when you get here. I began to panic. Just please tell me everything is okay with my baby. While waiting to be transported to his school, I paced the floors wondering what could have happened that couldn't wait until I picked him up. Once we arrived on the street, I remember being stuck in traffic and sitting up to get a closer look ahead when I noticed the yellow tape. I immediately began running towards his school before falling to my knees and screaming, God, what happened to my baby? My entire body went numb. It felt as if everything in this world around me became silent. The news hit me like a ton of bricks as the words echoed through my ears. Jace was left in the backseat of his caregiver car for more than 7 hours in 105 degrees temperature. I'm sorry, Miss Wallace. He didn't make it. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. This wasn't a bad dream, but it was now reality. Losing a child isn't something I would wish on anyone. After several attempts to pursue what I seemed to think was justice, I began to get angry and bitter. I wanted revenge while slowly falling into a deep depression. Early mornings, I would wake up yearning to take my baby boy to school, but no one to dress. I thought about the songs and conversations he and I would have, how we were planning to celebrate his 2nd birthday. I thought about how he loved water and one day would become the next soul surfer I envisioned. And then, every night, I cried myself to sleep, wondering what I could have done differently. I was exhausted. No one could answer my questions, let alone share how to move on. While still holding their little one, I knew they didn't understand. I remember turning to God and asking, what do I do from here? Little by little, he began softening my hard heart until one day, the love of Christ propelled me to walk in a different direction. He wanted me to give what was given to me, not only love and forgiveness, but he wanted me to educate others. Love Like Jace's mission is to bring awareness and resources to the community to advance children's safety through advocacy and community outreach. We host these events and partner with other safety organizations to bring a tragic story to reality in hopes that it will help others. This can happen to anyone, which is scary. But these tragedies are preventable, which is hopeful. And that's the hope I embrace now. Although I wish the story was still different. However, every child I meet reminds me why it's not about me. I can't go back, but I am choosing to move forward. I know my son is safe in heaven. He's cheering me on, saying, keep going, mommy. Fight for every child across the world as if they were me. And be the voice for those who can't speak up. I want to leave you with understanding what's really important in life. The phone calls, they can wait. But the safety of our children cannot. Safety is everyone's responsibility. So let's make our future leaders our #1 priority. It truly does take a village to raise a child. So please, ladies and gentlemen, remember the tips you learned today and share them with friends, families, co-workers, neighbors. Our children today deserve a chance to make a difference in this world too. I truly thank you all for your support and understanding my passion about our children. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Makia, thank you very much. All the speakers, thank you. If there's any news media that wants to do interviews afterwards, please just come and let us know. Again, on behalf of the Children's Safety Village, Safe Kids Worldwide, Safe Kids Orange County 1, thank you for coming out today.